greetings, greetings. Hope everybody is well, and I hope that you are swell. We have a very special guest on today. We have the one, the only, RapidMain, joining us today on the Skill Issue podcast. Episode 11 now, I think.
Yeah, episode 11.
Episode 11. We're moving up in the world now.
Yo, yeah, my webcam just tried
Oh,
crashing.
there we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, my Discord was crashing. I was trying to turn that on. Oh,
There we go.
it's working now. We're good.
Yeah, I need to get myself one of those mics. I really do.
It's very expensive. I think you probably are fine with a Blue Yeti or even a HyperX one.
Yeah.
This one's like you can get the mini one or like good ones for it for like $400 maybe, but then you need like an
Yeah.
XLR and you need to do all this research on cables and it's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, because I literally picked this up for let me see if I can convert it into dollars. Probably about $90.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You know, it does the job. But yeah, once we get the sponsorships, if we ever do, that's an upgrade. But yeah, so obviously you've been in the streaming game for quite some time now, and obviously with content creation as well.
Yeah.
Like obviously as I was previously saying, I saw like some of the first videos I saw of you were the salty streamer vids.
Yeah.
One of my personal favorite videos that you made was when you impersonated other streamers.
Oh yeah, no, I tried making a I still have a script to the sequel for that, but
Yeah.
a reason why I just kept putting it off is because a bunch of the people who got on that list just embroiled themselves in like insane drama. So it's like
Yeah.
I have the recording done, I have the script done, but then they just like get canceled on Twitter and it's like what do I do about that? It'll make it so bad.
Yeah.
Cuz like even though I'm poking fun at people, like I'm not trying to get involved in some drama. It's all just like
Yeah.
in good-natured fun cuz I know most of them.
Yeah. Because obviously you've played with other big streamers as well. You've played with JRM, you've played with Aaron, you've played
Yeah.
with, I believe you played with Hens as well.
Yeah, we all talk pretty often. We
Yeah.
go on trips to both TwitchCons. Even though
Nice.
it's like it's weird. Like I know them pretty well. And it's different from like meeting friends at college or like in your hometown because it's like your parents say, oh, your online friends aren't like real friends. But I've met a lot of very chill people from online
Yeah.
that I would consider good friends.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Me and Metal met over a game of DBD 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, nearly 2 years ago now.
Yeah, we were playing. He was the Huntress, and I was playing as Leon, and we were playing whack-a-mole on Dead Dog Saloon, and we've been good mates ever since.
Nice.
But yeah, obviously, again, you've been streaming DBD for a long, long time.
Yeah,
and you've
since about
seen
like
it when it's at its
2019.
yeah. So you've
Yeah.
seen it practically at its worst, and you've probably seen it at its best as well, if it has
Yeah.
come to that. So out of all the hours and all the hours you spent playing the game, what do you currently think of the state of DBD?
The state of DVD right now isn't like I feel like we're not at the worst state right now. I
Yeah.
think the worst state was probably like uh buggy PTB releases, like Twins or
Oh yeah.
when Skull Merchant came out and how unbelievably boring that was, Eruption slowdown meta. There's been a bunch of stages of the
Yeah.
game that are absolutely miserable in playing. But right now, I do feel like we have it pretty good. We've gotten some good license content in the past year. Bunch of balance changes. Uh, Even though the last original killer wasn't that good, Houndmaster, but like
Oh no.
we got Tokyo Ghoul and then FNAF coming up. So I think we'll be eating pretty good. But I do wish we got more game modes. But I think the current state of DVD, yes, we have it all right. It's not too bad.
Yeah, because obviously with the delay in content as well, because they're going through, as I like to call it, the Operation Health period at
Yeah.
the moment, which is needed at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously, the player base will take a dip because there's going to be a lack of content. But overall, I think it will be good for DBD. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Tokyo Ghoul because I played it on the
Yeah.
PCB, and he's, in my opinion, he's going to be quite a force to be reckoned with. I don't know if you agree.
No, yeah, I think people have already found like slide techs on him where
Yeah.
he's basically like swinging. Yeah, no, I think I'll have a lot of time messing around with that. Maybe trying to get on top of buildings using it if it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Tokyo Ghoul would be actually like really fun to mess around with when he comes out, and they have I think slotted a bunch of really cool skins from the anime. I might have to start watching the show. I've never really seen it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, no, same. I've never seen it, and
I'll
it's
say
same with FNAF.
I've read the manga. I've got the manga behind me, so
Yeah.
it's a really good manga.
How long is the manga?
About
Or manga?
14 episodes the first season. So about
Oh, they
14
don't have
is
more than like one season right now.
they got one I think because they got like a reload as well. I think it's like that's like the second season of it, but I've only ever read
Oh,
the first 14. But it's really good,
okay.
really good. I do recommend the manga.
Yeah. No, I've seen some clips of the anime and it looks pretty cool. It just takes me a while to get into new shows.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But yeah, like with FNAF, I know nothing about FNAF, I'll be honest with you. I don't personally understand the hype, but I do
Yeah.
understand that the community with FNAF is humongous.
It was started like out in like 2015, I believe. I never really played most of the games, but you know, that was when I was like an iPad kid just watching other creators playing that. So that's kind of what it's kind of what like me and a lot of other people grew up on. And of course like the newer FNAF games are probably like not nearly as iconic as the old ones,
Yeah.
but how popular the brand is in general, I do think, regardless of people's feelings about the game itself, I think it'll bring a ridiculous amount of new players to the game. And if
Oh yeah.
it's executed properly, like and well with a bunch of skins, I think it'll easily blow out the record high in players that we saw during Resident Evil's chapter release, which was like what
Yeah.
100,000 on Steam. I think not to be like cocky or nothing, but I think FNAF coming to the game would probably make it like 200K at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because and that's the thing. So if they can nail the the killer and the perks and the overall bugginess of DVD, and they can actually polish it quite well,
Yeah.
it's going to be a massive dub for behavior. And it will probably increase the lifespan of DVD as well. Because
Mhm.
for me, the only way DVD is going to go anywhere is if you know is by DVD themselves, by behavior. I don't
Yeah, and
think
we're
there's
going
going to
on
be
like ninth anniversary stream soon too. So like
yeah,
we're getting there. I still think I've been asking for years that, for example, like voice proximity chat would bring actually so much energy to the game that I would love to see. But of course, that's like very contentious point of view. Like not everybody, some people feel very strongly against it, which I get.
yeah.
But I don't know, I feel like that's so much free content out of voice
Yeah,
chat.
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
But then I think, like from a streamer's perspective as well, I think it might be a dangerous game.
Yeah, but you can't get banned for what other people say, like, as long as you're not basically poking. Because
Enticing it, yeah.
I felt that way too, like, when I first started out streaming, anytime I heard someone say, like, some crazy stuff, like, started going slurring, going on some crazy rampant, I'll be, "Oh my god, I gotta delete the VOD, I gotta delete I might get banned." No, I've had a bunch of crazies like that over the years. It's like you don't condone it. You're not asking them to do it. You think it's weird. So you're not gonna get banned for it as long as you're not like gonna keep them coming back to stream as if they're like a guest. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So with that, I feel if people strongly disliked the idea of voice chat and if it did come into the game, they could just turn voice chat off or mute the person, something like that. I think it's more of a pro than con personally, the entire idea. But I think I've seen Mandy before, one of the lead developers say that's not in
mm,
our plans right now. We're never gonna do that. But I don't know. Maybe behavior will get desperate enough at some point. That'd be nice.
yeah.
Well, they're saying
Metal, yeah,
they've never said they'd do things like 2v8. They said that in the
That's
past.
true.
They never said
That's
they'd
true.
do that, and eventually, what do we get? 2v8. So,
Yeah.
like, I reckon voice chat could come, definitely. And like you said, for content creators, it's free content as well.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
free, especially if you get some salty survivors on your team and they're giving all the lip and all
Yeah.
that. It's just free. And
That'd be
again,
pretty
you
fun.
can always just mute people as well. It's
Mhm.
always that option to hard mute everyone and just play like you would normally would.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree.
Because like I stream Daisy, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
unique people on that game, and I always get worried. Especially I play a role play server. I don't know if you've ever played Daisy.
I haven't, but I've watched it before.
Yeah, and there's some unique characters on the server that we play, and they've said some things, and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to delete the VOD. I'm gonna have to, maybe edit this, certain section out. But hearing you say that sort of has brought a sense of relief to me now,
Mhm.
which is good. But also, because you were one of the biggest streamers as well for TCM when that first came out, because I watched
Oh
a lot of
yeah,
your videos with TCM.
yeah. I really loved Prime TCM. I remember that I would get like on the game every day and do like 12-hour streams and then
Yeah,
go
I
to
can remember
sleep
that.
and then run
Yeah,
it back. It was I still get asked like quite often, like, when are you going back to TCM? When are you going back to TCM? And I have so many thoughts about TCM. I've talked about it like extensively. I think my overall thoughts about the game right now is I'm kind of sad of like how it turned out.
yeah,
And I think it got really, really mishandled by the developers. Like, I don't
oh
want to
yeah,
talk bad on their name, but like it comes from like a point of frustration because I really tried. I really tried to put that game on life support in some way because I talked to the devs in interviews myself.
yeah.
And the answers were so bad, so beyond baffling that I didn't even bother uploading it because I knew that the dude would have gotten torn to fucking shreds because of how bad the answers were.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have my camera on. I was grimacing that entire interview, like in like, oh my god, it was so bad.
You wouldn't be able
Um,
to give us a little sneak peek into one of the answers they may have given?
Basically, he was like, uh, yeah, we're looking into the idea of adding in Chop Top after I pressed him about
Oh, yeah.
that, right? And then they turned out a few months later, we're not doing that anymore. And I asked them, I basically, because one thing that I view about Gun is that they're really good at making the game, but then they are terrible with the upkeep. Um,
Yeah.
uh, when bugs would present themselves in the game, they would be so terrible at fixing them that they would literally just integrate them into the game and call it a fix, which really annoyed me when the game came out. Like an example was earliest example I can think of was you were able to trap ladders as hitchhiker, which I think was a good I think that
Mm,
was a good concept of gameplay. I thought that was fine. Make ladders dangerous.
yeah.
But when these victims would get trapped on the ladders after they came up, they would become bugged and they couldn't like go through gaps as easily or at all. Sometimes they would get bugged for the rest of the match. So instead of fixing that bug, they just no longer allowed you to put traps on top of a ladder. And
Yeah.
then the most recent huge bug that I experienced, like I think a few months ago, was in a new update, Leatherface was physically unable to get stunned. So instead of fixing that, they removed the stunning, all the animation behind the stunning, and made it instead of a 5-second stun to a 1-second stun. He no longer falls over. He no longer gets like barged the same way. It's so bad. There's
That's
so many examples of that.
that's really lazy as well,
It frustrated the absolute crap out of me. The worst of it, I think, the worst one is when they bugged his chainsaw meter. His chainsaw meter was no
Yes.
longer accurate, and you would no longer be able to do insta revs into a swing and get an insta kill if you perfectly time it. You can no longer do that because then your player model would start bugging out like he's having like a seizure, and then you would just like overheat. And what
Yeah.
they did instead is they went online and go, guys, it's working as intended. If you literally compared the footage from then to earlier, it was clearly not working as intended. And I remember I asked one of the lead developers about that exactly in the interview,
Yeah.
and he's like, "It's working as intended." I'm like, "No, the fuck it is not." Oh my god. They love to do some crazy shit and they just lie to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I can remember I spent countless hours just watching your stream, especially when you did,
yeah.
because you did your like marathons, and you
Mhm.
used to you used to have Gordon Ramsay playing on the background,
That's a
and
classic.
yeah, but yeah, like because I could tell that you really really enjoyed that game. And
Yeah.
when it first came out, me and Metal used to play an awful lot of it, and we enjoyed it. But then we quickly realized that the actual main character of the game, Leatherface, no one really wanted to play as him, but you could only
Yeah.
play the game if someone would play as him. And it just got frustrating. But
I think
I,
that's one of the few changes that was like good that they removed the requirement to play him.
Yeah.
yeah,
But they didn't change the other characters enough to fill that void in my
no,
mind at least. They just
yeah,
remove the requirement like, okay, that's good enough,
yeah, and like even some of the skins as well, the cosmetics, they're not
Oh my
exactly
god,
cheap.
don't even get me started on the skins, bro. They're so fucking lazy. They do some shit like, and I hate talking shit about the game because again, I felt like I stuck around the longest among some
You
of the
did,
Dead by Daylight creators. So when people like, oh, he quit TCM already, went back to DBD or like blah 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 blah, blah, like I stuck around the longest out of everyone.
you
I
did,
feel.
100%.
And I made a literal essay on balancing suggestions too. Like I was invested. But when they sit here in these streams dissing Dead by Daylight and behavior for their skins or character development and how they just slap a name on a new character and just call it a day, and but we have powers for our characters. And
Yeah,
then they go, oh, but every skin we research a 1970s magazine and we spend dozens of hours making sure this is top quality work, and then it's just all recolors. All of
yeah,
they are every pack is just fucking recolors. They want to stay as realistic as possible. No goofy emotes, no goofy skins, no nothing because we can't do that. It's not realistic. And
yeah.
then they say, "Oh, we're going to increase the level cap from 99." Never did that. They're not going to now. They canceled those plans.
Oh, have they actually?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
because I thought they were gonna
they
progress it
canceled that a
further.
while ago, and I hit level
Oh,
99 within like the first month or two.
yeah.
So and then they do blackout outfits for level 99.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
like 6 months ago. I think they introduced that. And the worst of them all is Sissy. Her blackout outfit is just a mere duplicate of her default, but like slightly darker without the buttons. Like they pride themselves on like, look at how better we are than the competition, and yet they literally cut every corner possible. Like, and
yeah.
then we have people defending these devs to their dying breath. Meanwhile, the game has like max 500 players in a day. You don't get anywhere by glazing the developers at all times. Like,
Yeah.
you need a little criticism.
Yeah, you do, yeah. As long as it's constructive, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Because like DBD, they've had their fair share of
Oh
constructive
yeah, for
criticism.
sure. Now their
Especially,
communication blows sometimes. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, because like loads of people like Hens, Ots, and the majority
Hmm.
of the bigger streamers, they do provide some really valid constructive criticism. But then you got the people that, let's say, they play DBD on a more casual basis. They Some of the criticism that they provide can be quite immature,
Hmm.
but then sometimes DBD do tend to listen to them as well, and it can be really frustrating. Like you can see in like for
Just
example,
giving the
Ots,
attention to the wrong people. Yeah.
yeah, and like in their streams as well when they provide when they pull out questions in the chat, they always pull out the really stupid ones. Like in my opinion, or when is it going to be like a Felix no T-shirt skin gonna be released? I'm thinking there's loads
Yeah.
of other questions, really valid ones, but they never pick those out.
They pick the softball ones or the ones that they can dunk on, is what I
Yeah,
say, but which TCM also did heavily. They did that all the
yeah,
time. They would constantly look at like um really negative comments and streams. They would dunk on people on Twitter for all the
oh my
time.
god, yeah,
The devs would like call players like I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I believe there were like devs calling players mentally ill or like
yeah,
XYZ. And then one of the developers, the same one that I did, his name is Matt, an interview with, he was literally on a stream, and one of the questions was like, "You guys gonna apologize for like the way y'all handling the game?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're sorry you feel that way." And it's just like, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with being like standing all 10 toes, like being like, "Yeah, I did nothing wrong," but like when you're
Yeah,
doing this poorly and you're constantly shit talking about other games, like you kind of look like a buffoon doing that.
yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the stuff they said on Twitter was quite tasteful. Um,
Yeah.
is there any like sort of licenses, like future licenses that you would like to see in DBD?
I've always thought The Thing would be phenomenal. The John Carpenter movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I made a concept for that like years ago. I think some skinwalker or like uh morphing type killer would be very cool. Would add another element to the game, as in like you have to check if somebody, almost like spy checking on TF2. Like you have to make
yeah,
sure that that person is actually like legit on your team. I feel like that would open a new whole element of like jump scaring players because we haven't had that in a while.
yeah. Bring that sort of fear factor back into
Hmm.
DBD. Yeah, because that's the thing. So, like, with when Alien first came out, well, first got announced, I was quite excited because I thought maybe the alien go through vents, in the walls, in the ceilings, and then jump scare out. But
Yeah,
evidently, it's the complete opposite. I like with the Houndmaster. For me, it's probably one of the most luck, disappointing killers that came out. Same with Skull Merchant, and even similar with Knight as well.
yeah.
I was fairly disappointed with Knight. But with like the Unknown, for example, the marketing on that was phenomenal. But with
Oh yeah,
Houndmaster,
and then they
it was
proceeded to lay off their theme too, which was like actually because
yeah,
that's the best marketing that they've had in years for a chapter.
hmm
Which I thought that chapter was going to be the Skinwalkers of
yeah,
impersonating other characters. And while it's still a very fun chapter, it's like one of the best original chapters they've ever done.
hmm
It's I wish it was something else, but it's still very good. And the marketing was very, very, very well done.
yeah. But
Um,
there was none
and
for Houndmaster at all.
yeah, same with Tokyo Ghoul. There's practically no marketing behind it, no
Yeah,
teasers whatsoever, and I only hope that they do like really good marketing for FNAF, or else, well, not enough people are gonna know. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure their Twitter post of announcing FNAF was like over 500,000 likes, which has
yeah.
definitely got to be their like highest performing teaser. So I can only hope that they keep doing that.
Yeah, because I do miss the days when they used to properly advertise upcoming releases. Because even like with Pinhead, when they did the sort of teaser release, and some people
Hmm.
found audio files, and obviously they released pictures. You could see the little nail on the
Yeah,
target. I thought that was just really, really cool, a nice little niche that people can sort of sink their teeth into. But yeah, since they let go of their marketing team, it's just, oh, we got a new killer coming out. It's the PTB's out next week. Just keep an eye out.
yeah. And I think leakers also pose kind of a challenge when it comes to marketing as well. They kind of just ruin the
Yeah,
surprise. And I have very
yeah,
strong feelings towards the leakers. Like when it comes for skins, like whatever, bro, it's a skin. Who cares?
yeah, yeah.
But when it's like a new chapter for DBD, when the teaser, because I miss the tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff. I personally strongly dislike leakers because the
hmm
way you think about it is there's somebody on Behavior's team working as a developer alongside a bunch of other people busting their ass, who just in plain sight is just giving it all away to Twitter for what? For
Yeah,
nothing, because they're not getting likes out of it. They're not getting money out of it. They're basically almost betraying in a certain way the rest of their developer team. Like, could you imagine like working on an animated movie or any different type of art project, and you're ready to release it a year ahead, and then just like the whole thing just gets leaked? Like, can you
yeah,
imagine like a Spider-Man movie just got fucking entirely leaked by a graphic design artist while they're all
yeah,
busting their ass? Like, they're probably all gonna get laid off for that.
yeah,
So I don't know. I think I just have very strong negative feelings for leakers. I'll put it like that.
yeah. No, no, I completely understand because it's like, imagine your parents buying you a Christmas present, and just
Yeah.
before you're about to open it, they tell you what it is, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I just
What
ruined
was the
it.
point? What's the point of that?
That's
Yeah,
what I miss as well. Back in like when you used to like have all the conspiracy theories. That's what I enjoyed the
Mm,
most as well. Where
yeah.
everyone's saying, "Oh, is it going to be Jason?" Because Jason's been coming to the game for the last 10 years. But that's because it's what kills all the hype as well.
Hmm.
Because as soon as you find out, oh, it's Tokyo got, oh, right, fair enough, right, who knows what it is
Yeah.
now. Because
I don't see what they get out of it
yeah, because
personally.
if you find out on the actual release day, it's like, oh my, we didn't see this coming, or we didn't see this killer
Hmm.
coming. But as soon as it gets leaked, it's like, oh well. I guess we just wait a couple of weeks for this killer then. But I do
Yeah.
miss the old conspiracy days though, because sometimes it'd be the most like for years I was conspiracy like Xeno coming to the game, Xenomorph for
yeah.
years and years, and
Yeah.
the 1 year when I stopped saying it's coming, it come to the game. So I was like,
Yeah, they just dropped that trailer. Luckily, that one didn't get leaked, which was nice.
Yeah. So I think for me, one of the bigger questions is, how did you even get into DBD in the first place? What sort of made you play DBD or even consider streaming it?
Um, well, I saw it through YouTube, like people playing the beta.
Hmm.
And I was like a console gamer back then. Like I was on Xbox, which it didn't release till like the following year on Xbox. Even then, like I still didn't play it. I only started playing around. Well, actually, no, I probably played off and on like parents' PC or whatever when I was still like beginning of high school.
Yeah.
And then when I got my own computer in like 2018, that's when I started playing it a bunch. And the main reason why I started streaming in general was like, well, I have all these funny memories and moments that I have with like friends online, and I feel like some of those would be really funny to look back at some point. And not just be forgotten to the void. So I started just streaming in general in like 2019, I believe.
Yeah.
It's almost like 6 years now. Jesus Christ. And yeah, I've just been streaming DBD and other games ever since.
Fair play. Yeah, because I got into DBD when, well, I first played it when it first came out on console. Played it for a week, didn't understand it. I put it
Mm,
away, and then I heard that Pyramid Head was being released to DVD, and I love Silent Hill, so I thought perfect time to come in, and you get the chance to play as Pyramid Head. So I thought,
yeah.
yeah, the done deal. But yeah, I've only been streaming 2 years, and only because my mate said you say some really stupid shit, and
Yeah.
some people might find it funny. He said, just give it a go.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Um. Now, obviously, like you said, you've been streaming for almost 6 years. Is there any sort of moments during your streaming time that stands out to you the most, like a certain milestone or like a really funny, unique moment? Does there anything that sort of
Uh,
come out to you?
uh, I think like the most memorable ones are probably like the longest memories, like when I do marathon streams that last like weeks. Like the last one, I did for like 2+ months, which was a little much. I'm always down to do it again because like shit, man, the housing economy right now is so
Yeah.
bad. And like, what's 2 months of my time if I can like secure an extra step to owning a house?
Yeah.
But yeah, because since that lasted so long, it's kind of ingrained in my memory. You know, sometimes I'll have dreams that like I'll wake up and my camera is like facing my bed, it's on, and like I don't know, I'll be like tweaking, like, oh, I forgot to end my stream. But other than that, like I think maybe cheating in games that I experience or voice chat moments.
Yeah.
Other than that, like no, I don't have too many ingrained memories from streaming. It's kind of just like one day at a time. It's all kind of a blur, if that makes sense.
Yeah, my PC wouldn't be able to handle that long. Never, like it barely handled. I did
Hmm.
a 24-hour stream dressed up as Mrs. Doubtfire,
Yeah,
and my PC barely handled that. The
yeah.
heat
I had
that
to
came
upgrade
off
my PC.
that.
I had to upgrade to even withstand the next one because it's gonna be on 24/7. I'll barely be able to turn that shit off.
Metal, do you have any sort of memorable moments on your streams?
Probably all the people I've met.
Yeah.
Like including yourself and all the other people. That's probably the main reason I started streaming was to meet new people because I was quite shut-in, never really went out. So it's the reason I started streaming was just to meet new people, and I think that's probably the most memorable things, like meeting like yourself, and that memory of us always meeting when we was playing the whack-a-mole at the water tower at Dead Dog.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that, like ever. And probably some of the 100 shots I hit. Was some nice ones. But yeah, I'll say like probably the most memorable is all the people I've met, because I've met some incredible people along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's going to be mine.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm probably the same as you, mate. Yeah, and it's weird because if I never came into your stream now one day, we would never have done the podcast. We wouldn't have met Rapid. It's just funny how things turn out, you know.
Yeah.
Right. I thought now we could maybe discuss Marvel Rivals because you've been playing a shit ton of that recently in your streams.
Yeah, a little bit.
So obviously before Marvel Rivals, did you play like Overwatch and stuff like that then?
Yeah, I played Overwatch for like a few years off and on console and PC. I was never really good at it though. Like, I'm pretty decent at Rivals, but like as for Overwatch, I was probably hard stuck gold. When I played all those years ago. Um, but I have a lot of good memories from Overwatch. That game was really good when it dropped, and when they were actually still updating the game. And then they left it to die for like 3 years while they worked on Overwatch 2. And now it's just kind of a shell of itself, unfortunately.
Yeah. So why do you think then, like with compared to Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, like the numbers for Marvel Rivals almost doubled to points triple compared to Overwatch? Why do you think that Marvel Rivals is doing so much better compared to Overwatch?
Well, Overwatch is like just really stale right now. Like I said, they didn't release a new character for like over 3 years. The competitive leagues died out practically, and when they released Overwatch 2, it was like some graphic updates to maps, a few new characters, and then they made it a 5v5 instead of a 6v6.
Yeah.
So when Rivals came out, like they had hero bans, they had their competitive system isn't as good. I feel like Overwatch is a better game because it's more polished. It's way more polished and has years of experience on it. But it's stale. That's the issue. Is that Rivals, like I said, bans, they have team ups in the game, and they have like an endless list amount of characters for comics and movies that they can pull from. And they have just free reign on that, and their marketing's better too.
Yeah.
And they release about like one character every month and a half. As compared to Overwatch, where like
You
it
went
take
3
months
years.
and months and months, and then like when they do release a character, it's horrifically broken and overpowered, and they take forever to balance it. I did play recently on Overwatch. Like they introduced a new perk system where the further you go on in a competitive match, you can choose between certain perks or your hero, which is a cool concept and it's fun. It is fun. It's just, you know, Rivals I enjoy more right now.
Yeah.
So because support also feels way stronger in Rivals. Like in Overwatch, it's just like you're basically praying that you're going to have a decent team. But in Rivals, it feels like you have way more control over the game as support.
Yeah, because I was quite surprised with the mechanic of Doctor Strange. I thought that was such a
Yeah.
well polished mechanic, being able to set up portals for defense, for attacking, and for trolling as well if you wanted.
Yeah.
And like you said, they've got they practically sat on a golden egg at the moment with the sheer amount of heroes that they can
hmm
get from the Marvel comics. It's like half of them I've never heard of, like that
It's
Squirrel
in the
Girl.
thousands, I believe, for
Yeah,
Marvel Rivals, Marvel characters in general. So I think they'll be fine for a very long time.
yeah. Because you've got quite a high rank in Marvel Rivals from the last time I've seen.
Yeah, I'm Celestial 1, but even then, like compared to some Eternity or one above all players, I'm probably very dog shit compared to them. Um, because Well, I'm competitive in the game. Like I haven't ever really done tournament type stuff before or scrimming, and that's like a whole nother level away.
Yeah.
I'm okay at the game though, so I mean, it's not that bad.
Yeah, because I've seen your streams when you play Marvel Rivals, and I just know full well you would absolutely shit on me. I thought I've had my moments. I'm consistently inconsistent. I have
That's
my
fair.
peaks, and then I just play awful.
Yeah.
But I gotta give it to Marvel Rivals. It is a fun game to play because
Oh yeah.
each sort of so you got your support, you got your DPS. Each of them are valid. Obviously, there are certain ones that are stronger than others, but they all sort of work together quite well.
Mhm.
Everyone does have a good partnership there. Because Metal, you enjoyed Marvel Rivals when we played it.
Yeah, like, I was basically support. That's why I look back Marvel Rivals as well. Like when you actually play support, you actually feel like you could do something, even do
Yeah.
damage. Like Overwatch, a lot of those healers, there's some like more that can do a bit of damage and Anna, but like with me with Marvel, like every healer is fireable and they can do damage as well. That's what I like about it because I mainly play Cloak and Dagger because you don't really need
Yeah.
to aim. It's all aim, so it's pretty nice. But they sort of work like more where you got to like do the damage and healing, and you got to balance it. But
Yeah.
like that's what I like, especially with Marvel, is like every healer's horrible. Where Overwatch, it just be like Mercy and whoever. Like, it's always Mercy, always. And when Mercy
Yeah. I
you
don't
just
even
get
know what the meta of Overwatch is right now. I couldn't even
it's probably
guess.
Mercy again with
Yeah.
probably Lucio or someone like that. Because back in the day, what I used to hate as well is when Mercy used to get player of the game every
Mhm.
single match. Red 6 people or
Yeah.
5 people every single game.
Yeah. I remember that.
With Marvel Rifles, you don't even have to watch the player games. You can
Mhm.
choose to pick whoever you want to watch, but if you don't want to watch them, don't watch them. Because I used to just hate that watching Mercy get player of the game every single game for about I wouldn't say they reworked it pretty much.
Yeah. And they've made it much harder now to get MVP on support. I used to get it like
Mm,
all the time in the
yeah,
first season and the preseason. Now it's like it's like near impossible to get at most games, and the reason why is because it makes sense too. Is like when you get MVP, you get more rank points. And when you get SVP, you lose less, depending on how long the match is and whatnot. But if every support is getting MVP every match, the highest rank is just gonna be
yeah,
supports, and you can't have 6 support mains on a team. You need to. It would be better to have a lot of DPS players and then people work around that or tank players. But a bunch of people playing healer aren't gonna be able to switch it up as often.
Yeah,
that's what I find in Marvel as well. Like you have to flex as well.
Yeah.
Like I like it because Overwatch never used to have roll queue. Like sometimes you used to have like 6 roadhogs running around, which is quite funny. But
Mm,
that's what I like because it sort of forces not to be a one trick as well.
yeah.
Because you might load into a game and like you said, might be like 5 healers on your team. It's like, oh no, now I've got to be a tank or I've got to be DPS now. So it sort of allows you to like obviously increase your skill level by
Yeah. At some
not.
point, you're gonna have to try other
Yeah, you're
characters.
gonna
yeah,
have to try other characters, and it like makes you learn the characters you go against as well. So like you're going against I don't know Rocket or like Doctor Strange. I knows how to play him, know how to beat him. So
Mhm.
that's what I look about Marvel Rivals. But I think I used to be against not having roll queue because obviously old Overwatch when you used to have like say
Yeah.
6 roadhogs running around, and it was like, impossible to win because there's like 6 of them. But now, as
Mhm.
I played Marvel Rivals, I realise actually it's quite a good thing for the game because it keeps it fresh, keeps it healthy.
Yeah, and with role queue, and limited like amount of roles for
Mm,
players, team up should basically cease to exist.
yeah,
So
yeah.
kind of need to keep open queue as a thing.
yeah. So with the obviously because you've played from the bottom to practically to the top, in my opinion,
Hmm.
in Marvel Rivals, is there like a certain meta the more you go up? Would you say,
What do you mean?
like with the heroes, is there like a sort of guarantee heroes that you will be facing against or you will have on your team? like necessary
Um,
heroes to have?
no, I say there are some very popular characters, but I'd say compared to like Overwatch, there's not one clear meta that I would see every single match. But I think the most banned characters currently would be like Wolverine, Storm, and then like Bucky, and then maybe Luna.
Yeah,
But because those characters, I think Luna's probably fine, but I think the other three, yeah, probably should be changed in some way. They're a little too strong, but you never really quite see one exact copy of like a meta per match because of the bans as well.
yeah,
It makes matches way more viable because if there's a character that's obviously really busted right now, taking over the meta, then you just ban them, and they'll have to learn how to play something else or pick a different team up or whatnot. But we're not like super locked down to certain characters. The only instance I say you probably would is like maybe doing 2-2-2, as in two tanks, two DPS, two support, or one tank, three DPS, two support, one tank, two DPS, three support. Like any mix of those, but like usually you need to have at least two supports, bare minimum, one tank, bare minimum, and then at least one support ult where you're healing people. But like other than
yeah.
that, you can be pretty free form.
Fair play. And because I played Overwatch 2, I never played the original. So I came
Yeah,
into the whole 5v5 and I didn't like it. Because
6v6 is better.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%
as
better.
soon, as soon as I jumped onto Marvel Rivals, the difference having 6v6 compared to
Yeah.
5v5, it was the difference between night and day. So I don't know why Overwatch went from 6v6 to 5v5. I
I
don't
don't know
understand why.
either. Because when the
Oh,
moment you die as tank on Overwatch, it's like the fight's over.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I think
So
because there was, I think because there was quite a lot of shield tanks because you could have a Orisa Rhino,
yeah,
and I think they wanted to sort of stop that. But
yeah.
for me, what killed Overwatch was when it went to 5v5 because obviously you had your off tank because you have a main tank, your Reinhardts, Orisas,
Mm,
and then you have your obviously your off tanks, usually your divers, like your Winstons, Divas, and all that. Where Marvel Rivals, you can have that. You can have your dive tank, get on the back line. Where, like you said, if in Overwatch, if your tank dies, you can't push, you can't
yeah.
move forward. And even with, say, you've got two tanks, one die, you still got another one. Even though maybe a dive tank, but at least you've got someone there to still take damage
Hmm.
and you make plays of it. But that's what I sort of think killed Overwatch a lot and taken loot boxes out. I know they re-brung them back in now, but like, I
Yeah,
used to love.
they're getting a little desperate right
Yeah, they're
now.
getting a bit desperate. I used to love getting loot boxes. Like, love used to getting them,
Yeah.
and because you used to get them for free as well.
You
I
can't
was
buy
going to
them
say,
anymore, which is probably for the best.
Yeah, because I did. I admit I did buy a couple because I did love the aspect of getting like a legendary skin for like Lucio. At one point, I had nearly every skin for Tracer.
Yeah.
Well, like, I used to love Overwatch, but as soon as they changed it to 5v5, what killed it for me, and the fake
that's what,
promises as well they
Yeah.
done. Because really, Overwatch 2 just Overwatch 1 just because they was going to bring out this campaign, which they never done, and it's going to have
I
perks.
think Jeff Kaplan leaving Overwatch is what probably
Yeah,
led to
yeah.
it made it worse probably because that guy was like holding the game together.
Yeah, yeah, because I was gonna say with the loot boxes, did you have to pay for them or could you
no,
just earn them?
you can get them for
You didn't
free.
have to.
Yeah,
You
you
could get
can
them
get
for
free.
like every level up, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, every
Or
level up.
challenges completed, but
Mm.
you could buy them. And what would routinely happen is streamers or content creators would buy like 100,
Mm.
250, and just open them one by one and like make it its own video. And they
Yeah,
did that in Apex too, so it's nothing new.
yeah. Did you ever used to play Apex?
Yeah, but I didn't really stream it too often. Apex is what was a really fun game when it came out. Right now, it's like,
Yeah,
I don't play it like at all.
yeah. So see, you've been in the streaming game for a long, long time. So for up and coming streamers, even for
Yeah.
myself, I'm still relatively new to the streaming scene. Do you have any sort of words of advice? Like for example, we did Polyester a
Mhm.
couple of episodes ago, and he brought up the 3 point sort of mechanic when it comes to streaming. So you either if you can hit 2 out of the 3, you're golden. So either you can be really good at the game. I think he said you have to engage with your community and be entertaining. One, would you agree with that, or do you have your own sort of
I
formula?
think I think you need to like do all three of those, but I think Polly isn't wrong, but you should, as like an upcoming streamer or newer streamer, you do kind of have to be reading chat like a lot. You have to be
Oh yeah, yeah,
constantly looking. And I think more so what is like the big three is probably you either have to be funny, good at the game, or I guess knowledgeable about the game. I think that might be the third one. I forget. Or all three or combination of the two. So if you're bad at the game, you better be funny, you know?
yeah,
So yeah, no, I think that's probably about, but when it comes to like trying to bring more eyes on your stream, I would have like a few years ago recommended YouTube, but like YouTube has gotten to the point where like the algorithm is almost untraceable of how it's going to work, because I've had videos where I will literally spend like the minimum amount of time editing, put it up, does crazy numbers. And then I'll have a project that I'd be cooking for a very long time, and then it's like a big flop.
yeah.
So that shit happens to all types of people, and it's very demotivating. But when it comes to TikTok, for example, um, that algorithm is much more uh like gameable to
Friendly.
me. Like
Yeah,
I understand the algorithm way more on there. And I went from like I started uploading last year, like around January, and I stopped uploading like halfway through the year consistently. But in the span of like 4 or 5 months, I was able to get like 20K on there.
cheat. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's just with TikTok, it's really about you do multiple uploads a day at high quality until your videos are getting picked up by the algorithm, and then stop uploading as much and just doing quality ones like maybe every few days or maybe
Yeah,
once every day. And then the algorithm will pick up your video. And I think TikTok is probably way better right now to start streaming with. I'm pretty sure that's how people found Queso.
yeah,
I know Skirms got his start on TikTok, and he only started doing YouTube like a few years into it. And of course, he's pretty consistent on YouTube now. But I remember he got his start on TikTok as many as other people that nobody would even hear of on YouTube because
yeah,
they don't use TikTok. I think it's way better than YouTube at this point. Just way better in algorithm wise.
yeah. Because I find YouTube's more of a, if you want to play the long game, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you want something quick and more upfront, then yeah, TikTok is normally the way forward because
Yeah, and
everyone
it's
is
not
scrolling
like
through as well.
it's not like it's impossible to make money on TikTok either. Like once you get to the creator partner program, I think it is, which is like
Yeah,
10K followers. It's like about $1 every 1,000 views for on a video. That's like a minute long, which is really not that bad. Like, um, I've had like maybe 2 or 3 videos so far that hit 1 million views. So like, if you work out that money, that's like over $1,000. If you get lucky enough with the
yeah,
algorithm.
yeah,
But of course, that's not gonna happen every time unless you're like some crazy big TikToker. But it's still decent money for the amount of time that you spend editing, because it's way less than a YouTube video.
oh yeah, yeah. We because we thought our editing should be simple enough, but
Yeah.
geez, it's a different ball game. Yeah, editing's bloody. Oh, it fries my head.
Yeah.
Because obviously before you started streaming, was there any sort of streamers you lent towards to sort of, I don't know, build your foundation?
Well, before I started streaming, I watched like a whole lot of Tim the Tatman and like Summit 1G.
Yeah,
And I don't necessarily watch them as much anymore, but like they were probably the most consistent streamers that I watched at the time. Yeah, those are probably the only two that come to mind, I think. 'Cause Tim
yeah,
was a big Overwatch player, so
yeah. Same as XQC as well. He was
yeah.
quite big in the Overwatch game. Because for me, I'm not trying to fangirl over here. For me, it was you. Um,
Really?
Yeah. Again, I loved the impersonation videos.
Yeah.
They were hilarious. But
I
yeah,
I might finish the follow-up at some point. Maybe.
You never know. But yeah, like even some of the toxic streamers as well that you've done. Because I think one of them had like 1.5 mil hits on YouTube.
Yeah, a lot. Jesus.
Yeah. And I used to watch Cows I Am.
Yeah, I
On
know. I
on
know of
Twitch.
him too.
Yeah, because he's stopped content
Yeah,
creation as a whole.
he's
That
gone.
was years ago now.
He's living his
Um,
best life doing something. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I watched Ots quite a lot. I'm trying to think of others now. Hens. I think I lean more to Hens for knowledge, but Ots for numbers for me, because obviously
Yeah.
Ots used to be a speedrunner back in the day.
They're both very informational heavy.
Oh
So
yeah,
they're pretty good at that. I don't really have the patience really. I would rather fuck around than
yeah,
analyze every little thing. But which is not a bad thing at all. I love them both to
no,
death.
yeah,
It's just not something that I really want to do. I'd rather just go hang out with shoot the shit like with
yeah,
friends at a bar instead of again, not that they only do that, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't have the mental capacity for analyzing that. I'm not smart enough personally.
yeah. And what made you come up with the banner that's behind you as well?
It was a really stupid idea that I had, just like a Skinwalker banner almost, and I bought it like I want to say like 3 years ago, and it's just remained on my wall. I
Yeah.
I don't even notice it anymore because it's just been there for so long. But of course, like when new people enter my stream, they're like, "What the fuck is that?" Or like, I won't lie, when I bring people over, like whether or not like it's a date or it's a friend that I'm just now meeting, I take it down and I put it away. Like I don't let them see it because of course like
That might be a good idea. Yeah.
it's can you imagine like let's say that this was my bedroom and I'm on a date with somebody. There's no way on earth somebody wants three faces staring at you like so viscerally while you're like lying down. That would be just horror.
They might be into it though. You never know.
Maybe, yeah.
But that might be a red flag if they are into
A little bit,
it.
yeah.
So obviously with like with DBD as well, what sort of, because obviously you mentioned previously about game modes, what sort of game modes would you like to see in Dead by Daylight? Me,
Yeah,
I
go
would
ahead.
like a sort of, so I created my own previously.
Mhm.
So it was basically hide and seek. It was something as simplistic as that. Everyone was on death hook. You're not allowed to use exhaustion perks as a killer. You can't use any aura, and
Mhm.
there's only certain killers you could use. Um, I think something as basic as that. Let's say you have 5 minutes to hide in total throughout the entire game. Once the 5 minutes are up, two exit gates open, or at least one. Just something like that.
Yeah. I think something like that'd be cool as well. Could do stupid modes where everyone's sped up, or like prop hunt.
I think proper would be
Um,
fun.
I think my biggest fan of ideas literally just copying Overwatch's server browser, where you get to make your own game modes, your own maps, your own. Well, actually, I don't think they don't get to make their own maps, but I've seen
Yeah,
people make their own custom maps for DBD, their own perks, their own characters, their own killers, and something like that would, again, I think would have so much life for the game if you had modding, right, reintroduced in like an official capacity through the Steam Workshop,
yeah,
because of course people abuse it when it's done under the table type thing. So if it was all done through Steam Workshop and the actual in game where people can create servers, not only would you have more custom game potential, more tournament potential with spectator, just more quality games if they introduce that. But of course, I think it's a big change. Like that would almost warrant like a whole new game to be made because I feel like Behavior's not ready for the task of
yeah,
introducing that whole system. Um,
yeah. Because for me, the best game mode they've brought out is Chaos Shuffle. In my opinion, I don't mind
yeah.
2v8. I think it's all right.
The queues are too long for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The most fun aspect of 2v8 is playing as killer, in my opinion, anyway. And yeah, the queue times are just ridiculously long. I think for me, the worst one, in my opinion, is Lights Out. I didn't personally enjoy that.
Yeah, that one's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I didn't like it
that
at all.
No, I thought it was quite boring. And then they during that game mode, you Legion was an S tier because you could use Killer Instinct.
That was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was ridiculous. But I'm glad that Behavior has dipped their toes into the sort of game mode aspects now.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But I would love to see Prop, and I think that would be a nice little touch. But I am curious on what they're going to release for April Fools, because I think was it last year they brought out My Little
Oni? Yeah, pretty sure that was what it was.
Yeah,
we only got a few days left to see what they got.
Yeah. Metal, do you have anything to sort of bring up?
No, I don't.
No. Rapid, have you got anything?
No, not really.
No. Obviously, again, thank you ever so much for doing this for us. I'm quite surprised we managed to get it to 56 minutes. I'm sorry, it's gone quite quick.
That's all right.
But we sort of blasted through that. But I had a nice time. I hope you had a nice time too.
Yeah, I had a good time.
But yeah, again, thank you ever so much for taking the time out of the day to do this for us. I know, you are a busy individual, but it does mean a lot to us. So thank you very much.
It's all good. No worries.
But yeah, I'll probably catch you in your next stream anyway.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate it.
Anytime, man. You take it easy.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye.
Right. Well, that was our episode with RapidMain. That was quite quick compared to Paulie, but in fairness, with Rapid, what you see is what you get. And he, fair play to him for finding the time for us to even do this, considering he is quite a big streamer, which is amazing. But yeah, I think I should conclude today's episode. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Well,
yeah. Lovely. Also, if you did enjoy the episode, please drop us a like and a subscribe on the YouTube channel, and let us know who you would like to see as our next special guest. And you never know, they might appear. Until next time, take care, look after yourself. Toodles.
Toodles.